You are listening to the Central Indiana Sports Report, episode 188.1, our daily update on high school, college, and professional sports news in Central Indiana, with a little bit of major national sports news, anything that may be of interest to Central Indiana sports fans, a segment we release at 1 in the afternoon, or as close as possible, every single day of the week.
You're listening to the Central Indiana Sports Report with your host, Greg Mengels.
Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Whenever you've chosen to listen to the Central Indiana Sports Report, we love that you're spending part of your day with us. Today is February 26, 2025. It's a Wednesday, so it's another day for the Central Indiana Sports Report. I'm your host, Greg Mengelt, and I love Central Indiana sports. Coming to you today from Madison Grant High School, producer Susie is in the control room at headquarters in Jeffersonville. Coming up, we had a full slate of boys basketball on Tuesday, and we have a lot of local and regional scores. Plus, Ball State's men hosted MAC leading Akron, and the Crossroad League men's basketball tournament got underway. Before we get to that, I have a huge favor to ask of you. Please go subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're going to start doing a lot of cool stuff there and need to have enough subscribers to justify our time to do it. Please go do that so I can make the Central Indiana Sports Report the best it can possibly be. Early Wednesday morning, I released Grant Schaus's IU Penn State men's basketball preview. I also had a game report from Oak Hill's win over Northwestern, head coach Kevin Renbarger's 300th win. Those were both released earlier this morning. Coming up later in the day, we have a full boys basketball scoreboard with comments from Alexandria head coach Marty Carroll, LaPel head coach Kevin Cherry, Frankton head coach Brent Brobston, and Madison Grant head coach Josh Hendrickson. And we have so much more coming up for you. Of course, our focus is still on high school sports, but we're going to start doing a lot more IU, Purdue, Pacers, Colts, and IndyCar for all of our Central Indiana sports fans. Kevin Renbarger won his 300th game as Oak Hill's head coach with a 55-45 come-from-behind victory at Northwestern. Jace Tonigal led the comeback and finished with 20 points again. We had a full report on that earlier in the day. Please go find that one. Frankton won its 10th straight game, 46-39 over Shenandoah. Brady Carmack had 9 of his 14 points in the second half, and Trey Bennett had a double-double of 12 points and 14 rebounds to lead the Eagles. The loss snapped a 3-game losing streak for Shenandoah. Alexandria beat Daleville 63-46 for their third win in their last 5 games. Bryson Eckler had 18 points, Mason Fuller 14, and Carson Hall 9 for the Tigers. Class 4A number 8 Noblesville handled Mississinewa 83-32. The Millers are 12-1 since January 4th. Madison Grant led start to finish and won its 10th game of the year, 63-39 over Burris. Seniors Xavier Yagi and Ike Almeida scored 18 points apiece in the win. Eastbrook won its 7th game in a row, 49-39 over Southwood at home in its home finale. Sophomore Jaden Younts led the Panthers with 16 points. They go to Bluffton tonight and South Adams on Friday in a busy final week of the regular season. LaPel beat Newcastle 70-63 for its 12th win in a row. 4 Bulldogs scored in double figures, led by 21 points from Luke Jones and 20 from Bodie Judge. Quinn Wilkins and Brody Judge scored 11 apiece. Another hot team heading into next week's sectional is Tipton. The Blue Devils won their 5th in a row, 54-35 over Lewis Cass. Grady Carpenter led the Blue Devils, as he always does, with 17 points, 8 rebounds, and 7 assists. Sam Quigley had 12 points and 7 rebounds in the win. Eli Falkenberg scored 27 points and Aiden Duff 19 in Carroll's 57-48 win over Western. It's the fourth consecutive win for the Class A number 12 Cougars, who are now 17-4. Hamilton High shot nearly 50% from the field and rolled past Rushville 71-40. Gavin Saunders was 9 for 18 and led all scorers with 24 points. 5 different Huskies had at least 6 points in the win. Tim Jones scored 21 points and Kobe Johnson 14 in Marion's 71-57 win over Northrop. Westdale led 30-6 at halftime on its way to an easy 65-34 win over Southern Wells. Cowan earned its first true road win of the season, 57-41 at Union. The Blackhawks are 6-3 in their last 9 games. Ty Wayne Fuller scored 19 and TJ English 18 in Liberty Christian's big 62-56 road win at Eastern Hancock. The Lions have won 4 straight and ended the Royals' 3-game winning streak. Eastern Hancock's Landon Loring had a game-high 20 points. Class 2A number 4 Manchester clinched a share of the Three Rivers Conference Championship with Mechaniqua with an 78-53 win over Whitco. Durante Morton scored 18 points in the fourth quarter to lead number 3 Westfield from behind in a 62-58 overtime win over number 15 Mount Vernon. What a game that was. Number 1 and defending state champion Fishers closed its regular season unbeaten with an 86-56 win at North Central. Cooper Zachary had 22 points. Jason Gardner Jr. and John Anthony Hall finished with 16 points apiece. Number 9, Lawrence North beat Hamilton Southeastern 70-60. 3A number 7, Crispus Attucks topped Carmel's 47-39. 3A number 5, Guerin beat University 73-47. In that one, Bryson Cardinal became the 7th Guerin player to reach 1,000 points for his career. He finished with 30 points and 13 rebounds. That, of course, is the son of former Purdue star Brian Cardinal. Class 3A number 1, Cathedral edged Zionsville 55-47. Brownsburg stayed hot with a 48-22 win over Center Grove. It was also the 300th win for head coach Steve Lynch. Pike won at Warren Central 56-49. Jay County won at Winchester 68-57. Jaden Coomer had 23 points for the Patriots. Alonzo Clausen Smith scored 31, and Lafayette Jeff beat Bowman Academy 82-36. And Roncalli beat Central Catholic 64-54. To college basketball, Ball State dropped a tough decision at home 87-82 to MAC leading Akron at Worthen Arena on Wednesday. Junior Jamari Hill had 26 points, and senior Mickey Pearson Jr. had 24 in the loss. Ball State is now 14-14. Akron is 22-6, 14-1 in the MAC, and has a 2-game lead at the top of the standings over Miami. In the Crossroads League men's tournament, Indiana Wesleyan won a triple overtime thriller over Spring Arbor to advance to the men's Crossroads League tournament semifinals. Jake Smith scored the go-ahead basket with 1:35 left in overtime. It put the Wildcats up 94-93, and they led the rest of the way in the triple overtime. Luke Brown made a 3 with 10 seconds left to send the game into overtime, and Griffin Kluwer hit a 3 with 4 seconds left in the first overtime to force the second overtime. The Cougars had a couple of late chances to win in double overtime, but couldn't convert. Indiana Wesleyan will play 6th-ranked Grace in Friday's semifinals in Winona Lakes. Grace beat Mount Vernon Nazarene 83-64 on Tuesday. The other semifinal will be number 10 Bethel versus number 14 Huntington at Bethel. Bethel beat Taylor 77-69 in Tuesday's opening round. Taylor's season ends at 14-14. Anderson head coach Carter Collins was named Heartland Conference Coach of the Year Wednesday morning. Tate Avagno is the Heartland Player of the Year, and Rob Davidson is the Defensive Player of the Year. Bryce Williams joined Avagno on the conference's first team, and Davidson and Kenny Troutman were honorable mention all-conference. Anderson men's lacrosse lost 19-2 to DePaul to fall to 0-3. Cooper Harris and Connor Kistner scored the goals for the Ravens. Henry White scored 4 times in DePaul's first win of the season. It's a slow Wednesday locally, but we do have some big events. Eastbrook is 12-7 and puts its 7-game winning streak on the line when they go to 12-7 Bluffton. Bluffton has won 7 of its last 9. 8-14 Pendleton visits 16-6 Centerville, which has won 9 games in a row. Those are the only 2 local basketball games on Wednesday night. The Indiana Pacers host the Toronto Raptors. The Pacers are 4th in the East after Milwaukee lost to Houston on Tuesday night. And to college basketball, 15-13 Penn State is at 16-11 IU in a big game for the Hoosiers, who are coming off their win over Purdue on Sunday. Big game with NCAA implications. Again, our IU guy, Grant Schaus, previewed that game, and that was released early this morning. Penn State IU can be seen at 8:30 on the Big Ten Network. Ball State's women are 20-7, 12-2 in the MAC, a game ahead of Buffalo, but they have lost their last 2 games and 3 of their last 4. They go to Central Michigan on Wednesday at 6:30 to take on the 12-14 Chippewas. That game can be seen on ESPN+. The Crossroad Women's first round is also on Wednesday evening. Number 2, Indiana Wesleyan is 26-2 and hosts 11-16 Goshen. That game's at 7 o'clock in Marion. The other first round games, Mount Vernon Nazarene is at Marion. Bethel goes to St. Francis, and Huntington is at Spring Arbor. In college baseball, IU hosts its home opener on Wednesday. The Hoosiers are 3-4 after starting the season 0-4. One of those losses came to Xavier. Wednesday's opponent, Xavier, is 4-3 and beat out IU 8-6 in 10 innings on February 15th. And now you know everything we know about Central Indiana sports. Thanks for listening. Always appreciate it. Please do us a huge favor and tell your friends and family about the Central Indiana Sports Report. The Central Indiana Sports Report is a product of ITG Media. And I love Susie.